I am the Doctor, this is my section. Earth is under my protection. Planet of birth is Gallifrey. I've got 2 hearts, your life is saved. Run into the Master Raw Missy. Come on, Alonzo. Alonzi. I am a Time Lord. No, I'm not rich. 12 bodies a man. Now it's time for a switch. Don't look like that. I'm in great health. You were expecting someone else? Regeneration. Oh, such fun. When I say run, run, run. What's up, my boy? Peace and sanity. Sorry, mustache. Reverse the polarity. Sometimes I'm north, but always a limey, wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. Jump in the TARDIS, go for a ride, it's bigger on the inside. Exploring all of time and space, oh, what's that? Exterminate.
Cybermen or Daleks, maybe.
Would you like a jelly, baby? Time's ticking, we'd best go. A new adventure, Geronimo! I am fantastic, so are you. Best come with me, I'm Doctor Who. Oh, welcome to a brand new episode of D4WH!
Woohoo!
I am your host. That's good entrance, right? I'm Adam O'Sullivan, joined as always by my co-host. Thank you for your service. We're sorry you won't remember it.
Oh.
It's Nicchia Shut.
Hello.
At the end of this podcast, I'm just going to erase your memory and you won't have any idea.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
So you don't get any royalties.
Particularly, well, no, I was just thinking particularly of your shitty jokes and I won't remember them.
You'll be able to hear them all over again.
I don't remember. Oh, what a terrible joke. You know I'm only kidding. They're not all that shitty. Not all of them, anyway.
All right, whatever.
And this is the last podcast we're ever doing.
Please welcome our guest. I'm starting to think we're in with a good chance of surviving today. From the Who's Raving On podcast, it's Natalie Bochenski.
Good morning. I shouldn't say that, should I? It's a podcast.
That's
good
right.
day.
You could be listening
good
to
night.
this at any time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Natalie, do you want to go through a little bit of your history with Doctor Who?
My history with Doctor Who. Yes. Well, I must admit to not being a huge classic Whovian.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's okay.
Although I also really hate the term Whovian. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Something about it just grates on my craw.
Whovians.
But you see, I would always see the last bit of Doctor Who before the goodies started.
Oh.
So for people of a certain age in
Yes.
Australia, there was always a 6 p.m. Doctor Who followed by a 6:30 p.m. goodies episode, followed by the 7 p.m. ABC News.
Yes.
This is on ABC, of course. And so I would flick it on just in time to see, Colin Baker stare up at a wall that was about to collapse on him or something. And then it would go, and then I'd be like, okay, that's done. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to the goodies.
And then you'd get goody, yum, yum.
And then Tom Baker would turn up and be like, well, the wall crushed me. I'm on the goodies now.
Damn it.
So I definitely got into it from the restart or the reboot, as it were.
So Christopher Eccleston, your first Doctor?
Yeah, and my partner Greg is a big Doctor Who fan, so I very much came in through that portal
Right.
of him being very excited for Doctor Who to come
I
back.
better watch this thing that he likes. Oh, God.
Well, not that, but I was happy to. And I remember, gosh, it just makes me feel so old, but I remember seeing magazine photos of them filming, like new Doctor Who is being filmed, and look, here's Christopher Eccleston and here's Billie Piper, and everyone going, Billie Piper, the girl who sang because we want to, because we want to, so, but then it was wonderful and lots of fun, and enjoyed the Tennant era and then a lot of the Matt Smith era, but I have to admit that the last few seasons have kind of blurred a lot for me. I don't have the distinction that I do with the specifically with that first Christopher Eccleston season. I feel like I remember it very well. Like it really burnt in there, and a lot of the Tennant as well. But then it all starts to get a bit murky, and I forget. It's
quite funny because we've before the season 12 came out, we've been watching season 1, and we remember, it's so amazing, blah, 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 and we go through the episodes, we're like, so the Slovenes just run around and fart a lot,
not as good as we remembered.
Oh, no, the Slovene were always tacky as hell, but I still love them. Or if I can give them their proper name, the Raxacoricophalapatorius.
Oh, dear.
Another one who can do it.
We're going to have dueling...
I only say that because I'm bragging, because I'm just really impressed I learned that.
Raxacoricophalapatorius.
See, I can say it too, guys. I'm going to fix that up.
Raxacoricophalapatorius.
Fuck me, okay.
So, yes, so in recent years, because I've been doing my podcast Raven On, which has been a Game of Thrones podcast, and when Raven On wasn't on, my co-host Stu and I started doing Who's Raven On for the first Jodie Whittaker series.
Great title, by the way.
And
Just
now,
works so well.
yeah, well, that is you can thank Stu's lovely wife Rose for that. She said, "Oh, why don't you call it this?" And he went, "That's actually brilliant."
Yeah.
And he told me, I went, "That's actually brilliant."
Yeah.
So we have just wrapped up our Who's Raven On, and now feel very lonely because that's how we caught up, is podcasting every week.
Yeah.
So what show are you going to do next?
We don't know yet.
Game of Thrones is over.
I know, and we're trying to work out how we can pivot to being more of just a sort of a pop culture podcast. But it's good to have something weekly that comes out to anchor to.
Yeah. Like that hook that you've got something.
Yeah,
that,
and we weren't expecting, because they didn't really make it very clear that Doctor Who was going to be. They sort of announced there was going to be a holiday special, and then it just went bang straight into the season. It didn't.
Went quick, didn't it?
Yeah. So all of a sudden we've got the rest of 2020 open, and
it might not be a
about.
year and a half until the next season, you know.
Well, when is the Game of Thrones prequel
coming out? Yeah.
Look, that has been pushed back. They're doing the Targaryens Fire and Blood, supposedly, but it's being pushed back enough to make me really wonder if it's going to go ahead.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, they cancelled one of them, didn't they?
Yeah, they cancelled the one
really?
that was in production. They'd made a pilot, and there was a bit of consternation about that because it was being mainly run by women. So they had like a female
and Hollywood
showrunner
was like, no,
and writers,
thank you.
and then they did a pilot and obviously went, nah. And I liked the idea of that one because it was set 1,000 years before the, I guess, quote unquote, current events of Game of Thrones. So
it's like Titanic. You already know how it ends. Yeah.
Well, if the
but
one that they're
1,000
doing,
years before is that
you don't know how it ends.
That's right.
That's right. You can start to kill off characters again with impunity. Yeah. And this one, they're doing the Fire and Blood, which is sort of the Targaryens' history. And I don't know. I think I didn't mind the final season of Game of Thrones. It wasn't perfect. There was a lot of things that could have been done better. Mostly, I think, due to pacing.
Season 5, so
I thought it. Yeah, I was the same. I didn't mind it. I could see where they were going with the Dany character. They probably rushed it a little, maybe. Maybe they had more fight. I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed it.
And welcome to our Game of Thrones podcast.
Oh, sorry.
My point is, I think that has sort of poisoned the Game of Thrones well a bit, or left a bad taste in the mouth with a lot of people, because it's just disappeared so much from pop culture already.
It has.
And I did not sufficiently plan. I knew I would become irrelevant once Game of Thrones finished, but I did not realise how quickly that would happen.
Oh, no.
So I'm trying to find something else I can entice people back.
It's like the final book. It's like, well, how popular is that going to be? Because, you know, Harry Potter movies were going on when the final book was released. It was fucking huge, but how popular is the final book going to be for Game of Thrones if he ever
I suspect it will still be popular because it'll be George R.R. Martin, and people will be going, that's what it should have been.
Yeah.
So the problem is with doing a weekly recap on particularly a show is so much is downloadable and bingeable now.
Yeah.
You know, it's dropped all as one. It's really hard to have those things that release weekly that you can kind of keep up the conversation with, because if I start writing recaps or doing podcasts about a show that's already been dropped, there's not a lot of incentive for people to necessarily read that because they can just keep watching the show.
That's what we do in the off season.
But it's true. It's just human behaviour. If you've got the option to keep watching, you do. So I've got to try.
The Bachelorette, you know, one of those.
I mean, they would be fun and light, but I don't know how much, you know, the audience that I drew in through Game of Thrones
would be interesting.
You could treat it like Game of Thrones. Well, House Carly went over and bitched about House Jacinta. She was not happy with the alliance they had made.
True.
She sent a raven to say, "Stop kissing my man."
Well, if any of your listeners do have ideas, please let you know,
send them to us.
And you can let me know.
God damn it!
But what I will say is, you were saying that, you know, there was the big thing. It was in the magazines about, Rose, why are they going to have a pop star?
Oh, yes, yeah.
That was the start of the Doctor Who whiny ass groups. They started with Billie Piper saying, she's going to ruin it, blah, blah. And there's been someone to ruin it ever since. So, yay for that.
Oh,
Yay for ruining the show.
Women ruining Doctor Who. Yay!
Let's start, as we always do, by giving it a D-whirl with Doctor Who in real life. Now, Doctor Who is now in the online playground game Roblox. Does anyone know what Roblox is?
No,
Yes, I do.
I have
of course,
no
because
idea.
you're a millennial. You and my nephew are you're probably closer in age to my nephew than you are to me.
How old's your nephew?
10.
Oh, I'm 23.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you a Gen X?
No, that's the same.
No,
same difference.
Gen Z.
I'm right in the middle.
Gen Z, sorry.
Yeah, millennial.
No, they're different.
What?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, because I'm a millennial.
But you were born...
No,
And I'm-
millennials
No.
after.
No,
Yeah.
millennials are 80 to 2000. So they're
Oh,
the,
well, there's-
the
Yeah,
people
that's
born
me.
in the process.
But there's two different ones. There's people who grew up around the millennium
Yeah.
and people who were born around the millennium.
Yeah, so our concept of life in the 90s is very different.
Yes.
Because you were a baby.
Yes.
And I was
Oui, baby.
I was also
We're
a
bebe.
baby.
Well, I'm a Gen X.
Well,
yeah, so there you go.
do you know Minecraft?
I do know Minecraft.
So it's
I've
very
never played
Roblox
it.
is very similar to Minecraft, except
Yeah.
Roblox was more about multiplayer, more people like playing all at once, whereas Minecraft was about a single person creating these huge things. So
Roblox is like Lego, but digital.
Okay, so you
that's
don't
fair.
actually use your hands and you
No.
don't improve
No.
your hand-eye coordination.
You play as like
well,
a
you
little
do,
Lego
kind of.
man.
a lot of YouTubers use Roblox. Anyway, why are we talking about it? For 2 weeks in March, which is when we're recording this, players could grab some free Doctor Who items for use in Roblox. This included avatars of the 13th and 10th Doctors, a pating which would sit on the user's shoulder, Aw, and a TARDIS backpack.
Oh, I like that.
What's the pating again?
The little thing that eats everything.
The little,
Yeah.
it ate the metal in the...
Doesn't eat organic.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't like the pating.
Oh, I love the
Really?
That was from last season, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
They're really trying to make that pating an adipose, aren't they?
Yeah.
Remember when they released all the stuffed toys and everyone's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I
meh,
love adipose.
whatever.
I
love adipose.
with the adipose,
Yeah.
my partner Greg and I both gave each other an adipose for Christmas the year that season came
Oh,
out.
that's cute.
Because we always give each other a couple of presents, like
Yeah.
a nice one and then like a little silly fun one, and we both sort of pass one to each other and open
All right,
it.
we get it. You're in a loving relationship. That's fine. Yeah, no, fuck you. All right, great.
You're the outlier in this room, Adam.
Yeah, oh, Jesus Christ.
I just thought it was funny that we were both giving each other essentially fat for Christmas.
Yeah.
Here. Oh, thank you.
And then it'll get sucked up and into the
Yeah.
the
I
thing.
mean, it's cuter when it's in a little plushie, isn't it? Instead
It
of
was
just,
adorable, and it's
stuffing your face
squishy.
with Christmas food.
Yeah, it was a
Look,
squishy.
I'd give up a couple of bones to be able to lose some weight. You know, it's be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I would take that adipose thing in a heartbeat.
I had an adipose stress once, so it was
That's
like
that's
fat.
what this one was.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
but
Yeah.
I remember watching that episode, going, "Can that be
Yeah.
a real thing?
Yeah.
I would sign up to
Oh
that."
yeah. As
in
long
a
as it didn't
heartbeat.
take all of you in the end. You know, it just took a couple of kilos and off it went. Oh, it's fine by me.
Yeah, if they had just done that and been like, hey, we are an alien species. We want your fat to make babies. Wait, I phrased that wrong. Come back. But I think they would have been okay with it.
No, I think
Fat
so.
babies.
Anyway, Minecraft also had Doctor Who stuff because in 2014, the Xbox version of Minecraft had over 100 Doctor Who skins where you could make your main character the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 8th, 10th, 11th, or 12th Doctors, and also included enemies such as the Daleks and all versions of the Cybermen.
Really? So what happened to the 5th, 6th, and 7th?
They never released them. Now those skins don't even work with the current version of Minecraft.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
What a bunch of
everyone who
dickheads.
spent money on it had like 3 years to use them.
Yeah.
Anyway, our episode today is Ascension of the Cybermen, Series 12, Episode 9. Written by Chris Chibnall and directed by Jamie Magnus Stone. Originally aired on the BBC Saturday, February 23rd, 2020. We start with a short synopsis. The Hoobie Gang heads to the coordinates from the Cyberium to find the latest human refugees from the Cyber War. When the last Cyberman shows up, led by the lone Cyberman, they split the party. All are headed towards Koshamus in an attempt to throw the Cybermen off their scent. Unfortunately, one group will lead to a lot more Cybermen to be activated. The Doctor will see her homeworld again and reunite with an old frenemy. And who the fuck is Brendan, the Irish guard?
Yeah, who the fuck was he?
We are recording after The Timeless Children has come out, so if for some reason you haven't watched both episodes, please do. Whilst we will be focusing on Ascension of the Cybermen, we may mention some stuff from The Timeless Children.
It could slip out.
It could slip out. Especially with the Brendan storyline, I think we might as well just talk about all of that in this one episode, because it kind of has nothing to do with the next episode, really.
It does and it doesn't. I liked that it ended and I went, well, what the hell is Brendan a Cyberman? Is Brendan? I didn't know. I assumed maybe a Cyberman. What did you think?
I thought he was, because the guy who plays Ashard is an Irish actor.
Yeah.
So I thought for sure, okay, that could be, he could be the Cyberman. Or I thought it was going to be that kid was going to be the first Time Lord, and that for some reason Time Lords were descended from humans.
Ah.
Yeah.
No, I honestly thought, and he kind of looked a bit like the guy who hadn't been quite upgraded. So yeah, I thought, he's got to be a Cyberman. I did not see what it was, and then as the next one started, I thought, they're never going to resolve this. Yeah. And then they did, but for me, they resolved
with one line, and
but
they're like, there we go.
I kind of liked that. It worked for me because I didn't want to know anymore. I just wanted to know who it was. So.
And Nat, who did you think Brendan was going to be?
To be honest, I'm not that forward thinking when it comes to this sort of plotting stuff. I really enjoyed you're right, I'm going to find it very difficult to talk about this episode in the context of the following episode, given that it was a two-parter. That was my favorite part of this entire episode, was that mysterious Brendan storyline, the Irish
I agree with
childhood.
that. Yeah.
And so I didn't really care. I thought that the instrument that they hooked him up to at the end looked very much like the Cybermen head.
Yeah.
So I thought
it also kind of looked like the
the
chameleon arch that
exactly
that Ruth used.
Yeah, so there's sort of elements of design that point to possibilities. But my main thing was, I'm just really excited to see where this heads. And I don't want to go too far into it, but I feel like they massively let the ball down in the next episode.
And I agree. Like, my experience, I agree that this was the best part of this episode, and I feel like it all hinged on, when we find out who that's going to be, it's going to taint the rest of it. And when they kind of just brush it off with and we might as well say, basically, Brendan is apparently a visual filter over the memories of the Matrix of the Doctor growing up.
No, he is one
Clear
of
as
the
mud.
Doctors.
You took it as literal.
Literal, he is one of the Doctor's lives, and it's the only bit that was ever left, and I think her mother left it for her stepmother.
Oh, you think Brendan was an actual Doctor?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I do. I think it was one of her regenerations before.
Because I thought, remember when the kid falls down, isn't that the Brendan falling down? That's the visual filter of that, basically.
No, I did think it was literally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it was strange, because when they say it's a visual filter of the Doctor and those events are the original Doctor, it's like, okay, but he falls off, becomes a guard, then falls off a cliff, whereas we find out later she falls off a cliff, then becomes a part of the division much later. So why would the Matrix rearrange that story? Now, I know why in the context of the story, because they were trying to throw us off.
Oh,
off
no,
the
I
scent.
don't even give him that credit. I think it was just Christian Mills bad right.
Whoa, the gauntlet's been thrown.
Hello.
Oh, okay, well, this episode or two-parter wasn't particularly exemplary.
I liked Spyfall. Spyfall was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I enjoyed the second part as well. I didn't need too much more Brendan. I'd kind of, as they started going through and the Master was telling his story, I started to figure out that that's who Brendan was. And I thought at some point that would be mentioned, and it was. Now, maybe you're right. Maybe it was just a sort of a composite of the story that the Doctor's character had been going through over and over and over and over and over until having it wiped.
I would like it. I would have preferred it if they had said, "Oh, that's just another one of your lives."
That's what I thought it was.
Well, he says it's a visual filter
Yeah,
over
they
the
did
thing.
say that.
Or it's a last. Anyway.
Yeah.
Can I just say, in the context of the second episode, they justify it by having the Master say, I think it was the Master, or no, maybe it was Dr. Ruth saying, do you know why you've been having all these visions of Ireland? Or the Doctor says, why have I been having visions of Ireland?
Yeah.
And it was not presented that way in this episode. In Ascension of the Cybermen, it was simple cuts away to...
Because the Master says, I
put them in your head.
I've been transmitting those images to you, and the Doctor never mentions
the
it.
Doctor
in
never
this
mentions.
episode.
The Doctor never has like a flash or
Yeah.
why wasn't it happening all season long? Why weren't there these flashes
Oh, yeah,
seeded
that'd be
earlier?
interesting.
If she's having flashes of things, why haven't they been?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they set up this really cool kind of external story, and then justified in the Timeless Children by going, "Oh, you've been having all these flashes," and it was like, "Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was she?"
Yeah.
So I think I'd like to ask our listeners to give us their theories on
Call in.
Brendan.
Yeah. And we will sit
call
here.
in.
We will sit here quietly and wait for your answer.
Yes.
No,
Call
put
in on
them on
1300655506.
What is that?
The reading writing hotline. How do you not know that?
'Cause I can read and write.
6555506.
No, just on Twitter or on our Facebook page.
Yeah, definitely.
and I'd like to. I think that there is more to explore with what Brendan represented or was Brendan.
Well, some people have included him in the list of the new doctors. Some people haven't.
Yeah. So I'd like to know other people's theories because mine was, so she left this little bit in here because this was a life that the doctor had. But you're right. He did say it's a filter. So that was not completely explained.
May I just have one more point to make on that whole thing?
Yeah.
And I did say this on my own podcast, but wow, Chris Chibnall loves throwing people off cliffs.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't he?
It's the only way to die, don't you know?
I don't know if that was like a very obvious nod to Broadchurch, which of course begins with a young boy dying after falling off a cliff.
Spoiler alert.
Well,
It's in the
found
first
at the
episode.
base
Yeah,
of cliffs.
She didn't tell you who the killer was.
Yeah,
you,
no, I
you
didn't.
know in the first episode what
You
happened.
don't
We
know
didn't-
that it was David Tennant
Yeah.
as the
You
cop.
don't know it was the master who killed him.
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was a deliberate. I'm going to give a wink and a nod to Broadchurch fans by having a. I just was sitting there going, "Is he really throwing someone off cliffs?"
Yeah.
Or whether it was just, it's a subconscious thing, and maybe it's like a kink for him. Like that's how he prefers his people
Like
to
Quentin
die.
Tarantino and feet.
Exactly. It's like Chris Chibnall and cliffs.
Oh yeah, Quentin Tarantino has a foot fetish apparently.
Oh, really?
Ah,
It's in
okay.
all of his movies.
Well, I remember thinking, although this is in the next episode, who lets their children play by the edge of a cliff?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
When you live in Toowoomba, everywhere's the edge of a cliff.
I know.
Maybe-
but-
And the guy who stole in Ireland, like it's very. You steal something from a shop, or he had stolen something,
Yeah.
and what they've gone for a massive. He's chased him so far
Yeah, that's
away from anywhere,
Yeah.
to the edge of a cliff.
Edge of a cliff.
At what point do you think the thief was like, "Fuck, I'm running to the edge of a cliff here"?
Yeah,
Should probably veer at some point.
Yeah.
Plus, they make it out to be like this small little sleepy village, and it's like this guy. Wouldn't everyone know who the fuck he is?
always a cliff. There's always a cliff.
Yeah, always a cliff.
Yeah.
Always a cliff.
always at a cliff to jump off.
I thought maybe he was trying to say that the boy from Broadchurch is a doctor. Anyway.
Oh my god.
I just love a good cliffhanger.
Hey, ba ba ba. A voice. We start at the start. A voiceover tells us about the ravages of the cyber war as broken bits of Cybermen float past.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Flying into the eye of a Cyberman head, which I honestly thought could be handles.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah.
I miss handles. I liked
or
handles.
Wheatley from Portal. Space!
Space! Oh my gosh, I'm in space.
Space. We are told that which is dead can live again in the hands of a believer, which is how I describe my love life.
Yeah, it is dead. Oh. No, I want to know who's the believer with their hands on it.
I don't know. No one. Me.
Well, get your hand off it. We're podcasting.
Oh God! After the title sequence, we see a quaint country town, and a man riding his bike in the middle of the road is a baby.
A baby's riding a bike in the middle of the road?
Yeah, I know.
exactly.
I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Not going
Look,
anywhere.
gaga.
Yeah, so that was, we've kind of talked about.
Yeah.
about
But it was
Brendan.
also pointed out that Gallifrey has often been referred to. People have asked, "Oh, Gallifrey, is that an island?" And people have gone, "Oh, yeah, I suppose."
Yeah,
could have been.
could
and,
have.
and it was Gallifrey, as we find out.
Well,
sort of.
we don't know. Anyway, we'll talk about the division next time.
Yes. It's also very Superman-ish, isn't it? Being found in a country road,
Yeah.
being raised by these good,
Lov-
homely people.
Lovely people who then electrocute you at the end. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the father was there for the.
Yeah, he was. He was
Yeah.
gunning for it. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
he
Brendan
was young.
had aged, but everyone else had stayed the same.
Yeah, that's not really explained.
And it was interesting to note that another theory that people had online was that it could be young Captain Jack, because when he wakes up again, he wakes up with a loud gasp, and that's how Captain Jack wakes up.
Yeah, that's what I thought for the most of that episode.
Except Captain Jack didn't become immortal until after he met the Doctor.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
care.
Also, isn't that how that's just a movie and TV trope when people wake up from
Yeah, I
ostensibly
suppose.
being
Yeah.
dead, they go, it's quite a common. I didn't think of the Captain Jack thing, but that's
Well, and also they say that people don't most, when they have nightmares, don't normally sit up and scream. You normally sort of are still pinned.
Yeah.
So you kind of wake up.
The
so
worst thing
that's
is
a movie
when
thing.
they wake up and they're like, oh, it was all a dream. And then they're still in the dream. And then they wake up again.
And then they're still in the dream, and then they wake up again.
The whole movie's a dream.
And then somehow you're on a beach and you don't know how you got there.
But it's a dream. I hate that.
All right, back to the normal Doctor Who part of the episode. When Brendan is a boy and gets sick, his mum says if it gets worse, she'll call a doctor. So we instantly cut to the Doctor and the fam on an unknown planet in the very far future. They're following the coordinates that Shelley kept writing out whilst under the influence of the Cyberium. So I assume that's why the lone Cyberman is there as well. That's he knows how to get there.
Yes, I would say
they
so.
were following him. Remember?
They were following the coordinates that Shelley had given them.
Oh, yes, but that's where he had gone.
Yeah.
Because
basically,
he got the Cyberium into him and vanished, and then they went, okay, well, we need to program the TARDIS to go follow exactly where he goes.
So they've got all their Cybermen killing or
things,
yeah.
They've literally got a junk drawer full of crap.
They do.
If I can just say.
Yeah.
Can I my first query is why once again does the Doctor park the TARDIS so far away?
So thank
Plot.
you very much.
Because
Plot.
Because the plot needs to chicken.
Or when they steal the cyber ship, why don't they go to the TARDIS, pick it up? Oh,
I know. There's so many times when you think, oh, come on, go and get the TARDIS.
it's so ridiculous.
Anyway,
the Doctor introduces herself to the last of humanity, but there's little time for introductions before it's time to set up defenses. The Doctor has 3 machines. One to jam the emotional inhibitor and remind the Cybermen of what they are, a technique we saw used in The Age of Steel. A particle projector to saturate the air with gold particles, with gold being a weakness from the classic series.
yes, we
I
do
love
know that.
gold.
I love gold.
Now, what is the planet?
Vogan.
Vogan.
Yeah,
That's
the gold planet.
The Bogan planet.
And the glitter gun.
Bogan.
And the glitter gun, that's right.
I'm going to destroy you with my glitter gun.
That was such a wonderfully tacky classic episode we reviewed.
And a force field designed to fry the Cybermen. While setting up the force field, Ryan is introduced to Yedlami and his brother Cannon Fodder. Sorry, Fuskull.
What?
Cannon fodder. You know he's going to die, right? Yeah.
This is my brother. He's very important to me. I hope nothing happens to him. Anyway, he gets scared really quickly. I hope there's no loud sounds or something that might scare him.
I'm surprised he lived this long, but anyway, he'll be okay.
Boom.
Yeah.
Well, they notice that they say that there's 7 humans left, and then 3 die, and then there's the 3 fams, so there's still 7 humans
Yeah,
left.
that's right.
Yay.
Still making up those numbers.
Yay.
I tell you what, I'm a bit worried, but is that it? Is that it for us?
Well, they keep saying that's the last of humanity, but then Koshama says, I've been sending a bunch of people through the boundary. So you'd kind of hope that they were surviving.
But were they going to Gallifrey or were they going somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what is not made clear.
I couldn't work out, did the Master get Gallifrey? I couldn't work out whether he did some stuff to make the boundary go to Gallifrey or the gateway.
Yeah, because Koshama says at the end, it's never looked like
It's never looked like that before.
Oh,
So
okay.
had
he
he
talking
been
about Gallifrey?
pre-destruction, Gallifrey, or
Yeah.
a totally different place?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's never resolved.
Which means that they're either all dead in Gallifrey or they're not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But if a bunch of humans turned up on Gallifrey, do you think they'd be like, yay, let's look after them? Or would the Time Lords be like, kill them all?
Well, who knows? The Time Lords aren't the nicest people,
That's
but
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
think they'd kill them. They might send them back into the war.
Koshama sends one person through, they come back, they're like, nah, it's fucked over there, don't worry about
And
it.
maybe this was explained, but I didn't pick up on it. Is the boundary supposed to be a different... There was a sort of a description of it at one point. Is it supposed to be a different dimension entirely to the one that the Cybermen are in?
So
Yeah.
in this episode, they only describe it as a different part of the universe.
Yes.
In the next episode, they do kind of briefly touch on it could be another dimension, another
universe.
And that's, so to me it wasn't super clear. Is
Yeah.
there no more humanity in this universe, but we've gone to a split dimension, or we've gone to a different
part of
part
the
of the universe?
They
Yeah.
all went to the Cyber Industries universe, and they were like,
Yeah.
this is going to be great. Nothing bad is going to happen over here.
Oh, damn it.
Don't know.
So I would have liked to have known what happened to the humans who went through there, because I kept thinking, well, are they in
fell off
cold
a cliff.
storage?
Yeah, we also know humanity doesn't die because, the Toclophane are humans from the end of the universe.
Oh, yeah. Great way to end up, isn't it?
And Satellite 5 and from
Satellite
the very
5
first season.
and me
Well,
and the Shielder. And...
It's always in flux, isn't it? The future's always in flux. People.
The defences are all for naught as a bunch of flying Cybermen heads, aka Cyberdrones,
Oh,
whiz
those
around.
were so terrible.
I did not like them at all. They may as well have thrown cyber mats at everybody.
Do they still have the brains in them? Like, just flying brains around?
It was stupid.
It wasn't it wasn't the finest moment, but I can see somebody, probably Chibnall, sitting in his writing room going, "Oh, this is going to be great. Oh, they can detach their heads and send them off as drones, or we have totally different separate heads that we send off as drones.
Yeah.
Will I explain which one? Never. But it'll look really cool.
Yeah.
We'll spend all our budget on that."
It looked really tacky, and we didn't know that they were fully automated by then.
And also, they could have killed everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they even make the point. Like they knocked off Cannon Fodder and a couple of others, or at least one other.
That was cannon fodder too.
Yeah. More cannon. And they
Little cannon.
and then the doctor says, "Oh, they do this. You wait till the actual ones get in there." And it's like, well, no, they wouldn't. They could have just killed them all. They would have just stuck around.
Just me and the other two.
Yeah.
We should bring the 6 Cyberdrones back. you
Yeah,
know?
that's exactly right.
And we never see them again. Like,
No.
they don't show up on the
No.
thing.
Thank God.
But it gives Jodie Whittaker a moment to look up in the sky and say very dramatically, "Cyber drones."
Yeah, I know.
And everyone goes, "Oh, what?" And then
Dun,
you
dun,
see
dun,
flying
dun.
heads.
I just thought they weren't needed. Just have the Cybermen turn up. That's what you need.
I think they were trying to set up the idea that, here's an element of the Cybermen that is potentially survivable.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with the Cybermen. They're supposed to be an unstoppable force of deletion.
But you blow them up and they die, basically.
Yeah, or you throw gold at them and they I mean, I do not, and I'm not a fan of the Cybermen. I never have been. The guy who's only half a Cyberman was the first Cyberman that looked scary because he had a human, you could see the
that's
human
right.
face.
Yeah.
But they just look like, stupid. I mean, they never sneak up on you with that.
I know, exactly, yeah.
You
You can imagine a married couple being like, "You woke me up last night. I'm sorry. It's my leg. It's my movements. I can't stop it."
I'm not a big fan of the Cybermen, so.
You're not a big fan of the Cyberdrones?
No, the Cyberdrones, the Cyber Mats, anything cyber is a little bit silly, I
But
think.
the doctor identifying the cyber drones makes zero sense if she's never seen them before.
No, she should have
She's
just
just like, cyber drones. It's like, you've never seen them before. How do you know what they are?
Well, she must have, but we didn't see it. But I wanted her to yell out, "Handles!"
I want to know if the heads were all CGI or if they had just a guy sitting there like, "Well, okay, we're just going to do your heads. So if you just move them around a bit, that'd be great."
Or just a bunch of guys in green morph suits with cyber heads on sticks.
Yes. Flying around going, "Pew, pew, 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 pew."
Oh, that would be so awesome to watch.
Apparently there's a rumor for like when they filmed the Star Wars movies, apparently especially with the prequel movies, they had to keep telling the actors who were in the lightsaber battles to stop making the lightsaber noise.
Oh, yes, no, that's true, apparently.
Yeah. And they're like, no, please stop making the noise.
But it's good. I liked it.
I read somewhere about a person who was shooting a gun and they had to stop them making the pew, pew, pew,
Pew, pew, pew.
That would be me. Pew, 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 pew.
yeah.
The Doctor tries to distract the lone Cyberman and his 2 cyber troops with cyber guns. They just get out of their cyber ship, and boy, are they cyber tired, but they have to do their cyber job, or else there's no cyber rest for the cyber wicked. Everything's cyber in this episode.
I know.
You're very proud of yourself for
I
that
am,
sense,
thank
aren't
you.
you?
No, that's very good because it is very, it's like... It's
Cyber drone,
almost like a
cyber
McDonald's
carrier, cyber
thing.
ship, it's like
you
cyber,
McFlurry,
cyber
you
TM.
muck this, muck that. For me, who doesn't really like the Cybermen, I was like, oh, come on.
That's a good competition, though. What is the funniest prefix that you can do? Like, what is the funniest word you can add cyber to make the funniest combination?
Cyber sex.
Well, that's
the thing.
Yeah.
That was very big back in the 2000s.
Yes.
Before the internet.
Now it's called sexting.
That's right. So, like cyber puppy,
Cyber puppy.
There probably have been
Cyber finger.
cyber puppies.
Cyber finger.
I give you the cyber finger.
cyber nose.
Cyber carb, cyber...
What about if you're taking magic mushrooms when you're a Cyberman?
Cyber trip.
So you're taking psilocybin.
Robotic hallucinogens. Yeah. I think we
I like
found
that.
it. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
That's another one people can put on the Facebook. What are the best cyber?
What's the best cyber they ever had?
What's the best cyber you
Please
ever
tell us
had?
about it.
I'll give you the
'Cause it's been a
cyber
while.
finger if you do well.
Oh, crikey. That does sound a bit...
It's very painful, but
Delete. You will be upgraded. Ooh, crikey.
Oh, hello. Oh,
I
yes,
want to be
please.
upgraded, baby.
That's why Ashad was like, oh, yes, please. That's me. Thank you. Graham, Yaz, Yedlami, Bescott, and Ravio. Oh,
Bless you.
yeah, thank you.
I didn't even bother learning their
Yeah,
names.
they have names. They
They
all
all have
names.
names. They've all got crazy names. Nobody's called Jeff in
Yeah,
the future.
yeah,
No,
or
no.
Tom, or
It just sounds
Bill.
like a teenage girl's fan fiction.
It
She
does.
just like gives them the weirdest.
Their future names, thank you. Future names like Yedlami, Bescott, Ravio,
Biscuit.
Ethan.
It
Biscuit.
kind of sounds like biscuit.
Yeah,
I've
it
got to say.
does. It does.
That's the blonde girl.
Good old milk arrowroot over here.
Yeah. I just want someone called Bob from the
Yeah.
future.
Bob.
Bob. Bob.
You know,
that's
Bob
why
would
it was-
die.
That's why it was so funny when that very first episode with Jodie Whittaker and they introduced Tim Shaw.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he
Tim
was
Shaw?
called-
Yeah,
Tim
Tim
Shaw.
Shaw.
Yeah.
Which
That was
just was funny to
so
all Australians who were around in the 90s for Tim Shaw from Dead
But wait, there's more.
Very old reference, but still it's seeped into the subconscious.
It did. And it was funny.
It's like, Tim Shaw.
Yeah.
And
Are
we
you
laugh.
Tim Shaw, mate?
Yeah.
They all end up on the Grav Raft, a ship that looks like a Gravitron amusement park ride, and pretty much acts like it too.
Yeah,
because it
it-
keeps spinning.
It's, oh.
Love those things.
Well, I mean, I had nothing. The spaceships and that look good. It's just, it looked like it was on its last legs. I don't think I'd get in it.
Yeah. The funniest thing about that ship is later on when it goes, it's like, oh look, there's an opening over there, and it like goes
Skids
in
in.
it skids in
Yeah.
very like it's the opening is like perfect for it. It's like
Yeah.
there's never, we can't even have two programs working on in what the fuck am I trying to say?
I
don't know.
We can't
No.
even have PC and PS4 playing games against each other, let alone two species, different ships being like, it's easy to dock.
Is there
they
not
were both
any
cyber
sexual
ships, weren't they?
connotations towards that? Is this like, oh yeah, that was
Well,
that was easy.
Maybe the Cybermen like to fuck. Is
Yeah,
that what you want me to
yeah,
say? Is that what you
yeah.
want to Fine,
That's-
I've said it.
yeah.
That's the same when they're in
Just gotta
Dalek.
get it out there because I know that you were thinking it. but you
When
just
they're
didn't
in
wanna say it.
Dalek ships and
Yeah.
suddenly they're using their hands to do things. And I'm thinking, well, the Daleks don't have hands, so everything would be set up for Daleks,
Everything's
not
just
for
balls
humans.
that they put their sucker on, you know?
Yeah.
The
Anyway.
sucker.
Yeah, they're plunger.
Yeah.
This is a
Plunger.
very lascivious
Daleks,
podcast
yeah.
today.
Yeah. Oh, it
Suckers
gets
and balls
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Cybermen like to fuck.
Cyber fingers and I just thought that they could have like missed a little and sort of when they were docking and it could have
it gotta be realistic. You gotta miss a little when you're
something.
talking. Yeah.
Exactly.
As I observed for people who might remember the 80s, 90s, well, actually, it's still kind of going occasionally. Space sitcom Red Dwarf.
yes.
It was very much like Starbug
It's
coming
still
into
going,
land.
and they just announced
Okay,
that there's
calm
the
down,
Promised
calm
Land
down.
TV special coming out.
Come
oh my
on.
god!
Calm
I'm
down.
so excited that you are into Red Dwarf.
Yeah,
That's
loves
great.
it.
That's great.
We
Oh
try
my
not
God.
to mention on the
No,
podcast
but
because she goes on.
this is how old I am for my schoolies week.
Yeah.
Because I am very cool.
Mm.
I got my first job really at Coles, so I had training that week, and then the rest of that week I went up to my local Video Easy,
Ooh.
rented Red Dwarf videos,
Mm.
Blackadder videos,
Oh, I love
Doug
Blackadder.
Anthony All Stars videos, and what else? Anyway, it was just a nerd out-a-thon for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
And we
Yes.
had one room in the house that was air conditioned, which was the TV room. And because I'd just finished school and I was doing training at Coles, my parents couldn't tell me to, get off my butt. So I spent that whole week going, I just finished school. Nah, I'm allowed to relax. And I just watched Red Dwarf, and it was I still remember that time very fondly. And a lot of people hate schoolies, but I remember
Yeah.
schoolies so fondly because I
I
nerded out.
spent my schoolies in Redcliffe because I was just glad that school was over. Like I did pretty much the same thing. Just fucking sat at home and watched whatever I wanted. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
I lived 10 k's away from schoolies and didn't go, so yeah.
Oh, well, we went, but it wasn't a big thing when we went. There was a group of girls and we went to Burley Heads, but none of us drank. So it wasn't.
We all sat around and went, this is nice, isn't it? It's
Well,
lovely. Isn't it?
because we'd been at boarding school, the big thing for us was at 10 o'clock at night, we'd go, let's go walk on the beach. Yeah, we don't need permission slips. Yeah, you know. That was our big thrill.
And Beck and I met through a Tim Ferguson writing class.
Oh,
so-
I want to do one of those.
They're very good.
Yeah, me
Yes.
too.
Yes.
He's quite a guy, Tim Ferguson.
Yeah.
They all are really. I embarrassed myself greatly in front of Paul McDermott a couple of end of 2018. I was down at the Melbourne Fringe with my co-performer Amy Curry doing a show we do called Love Hate Actually.
Yeah,
And-
I've seen that. I've seen posters. Well, I haven't seen the show. I've seen all the posters for it, but I've got to
The
go and
posters
see
are very
that.
good, though.
Oh,
No,
thank you.
and I keep thinking I've got to go and see it, and there'd always be something on, and I really wanted to see it. But
Well, hopefully at some point we can remount it. It's kind
I've
of
actually seen the
timeless.
show, and it's all very good.
Oh, thank you. Well, we were in the Fringe bar after our show, I think. And then in walks Paul McDermott. Now, Amy and I had never had this discussion before, but that was the moment we both realised we had insanely huge schoolgirl crushes on Paul McDermott.
Who doesn't?
I didn't. Mine was Tim.
Oh.
And so, because I came in kind of for Good News Week and then got into DAS from that, really.
Yeah.
And so we both had this moment of realising, I was like, oh my God, there's Paul McDermott. And Amy's like, oh my God, it's Paul McDermott. Oh my God, he was my idol when I was in high school. Me too. And, like, it was something new. We found out about each other on the spot. And then we were like, do we go talk to him? What if we invited him to the show? Would he come? He probably wouldn't come, but we could at least say hello. Maybe we could get a picture. It was all this like huddled, all of a sudden we were schoolgirls again going, oh my God, what do we do? And so we went up and just massively embarrassed ourselves,
Yeah.
like going, hi, Paul McDermott, we're big fans. We're doing a show too. We're also comedians. Would you come to see our show? And he was like, oh, it sounds great. I'm going back to Sydney tomorrow though, so I won't be here. He was just doing a trial run. And I was like, that's okay, Paul McDermott. We just wanted to say we really loved Paul McDermott. And can we take a photo with you? Paul McDermott? And then we did. And then we ran to the other side of the bar and commiserated about how lame we were.
Yeah. Well, then you're like me, because if I meet famous people, I can't speak. I get teary afterwards. I'm absolutely no good, and I just do this a lot.
Well, my worst one is I met Jason Momoa, aka Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones, also
I thought you were
Aquaman.
going to say, I thought you were going to say
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
I met him on the set of Aquaman, so I was working in a particular job that I met a fair few famous people at various times. But yes, I saw Jason Momoa. Wasn't expecting to meet him because I was staffing a fairly important person. And then all of a sudden, after they had all their photos, he turned around and started shaking hands with people standing behind him, and I was one of them. And I just sort of, all of a sudden he had my hand and was like, hello. And I went, hi, I'm a huge fan. Game of Thrones. Like just couldn't speak, and just was like, and then he went, oh, great. Or, something kind of like, and then, and then he went to the next person. And the person I was with was like, oh, hi, I'm Julie. Welcome to, I hope you're having a great time filming in Queensland. So nice to meet you. Like, really cool, really smooth. And I was sitting there going, please, Earth, open up and swallow me. Like, I'd never had that feeling before. And then all of a sudden I went, I know what that feeling is now. And I was just like just red-faced the whole drive back, because I was like, I just embarrassed myself in front of Jason Momoa.
They're never going to remember it, but you will.
Of course not.
You will.
I will.
Yeah,
but then I did weave that anecdote into a show. So everything,
that's
everything's
good.
for comedy.
I
Everything's-
embarrassed myself in front of John Barrowman, so that was fun.
Ah. I probably would too. He's very cool.
We had a picture with him. Where is it up?
I
up
can
there?
see it.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see
We went
it.
and had a
He's
picture
great.
with him, and I was very gung-ho of, we should tell him about the podcast. I bet no one's ever told him about the Doctor Who podcast that they do. So there was
It's going to be fresh new
there
material.
was a Q&A, and I was like, I bet I could ask him a question like, has he ever done a podcast before, or would he do a podcast? And I'll just casually slip in, hey, I'm the host of D4WH. And so I did that, and it did not go well at all. Basically, he gave the stock standard answer of like, I can't talk about anything I'm working on, blah, blah, blah. But then somehow we also got, I don't know why, but I all of a sudden I was like, you can come on the show anytime, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, are you going to pay my fee? And I was like, maybe. Like, it went horribly.
And unfortunately, it was all filmed and live streamed on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh.
It's-
Luckily, they didn't show Adam's face, but I do have it on my phone.
Look, it's one of those things, isn't it, for the guys who do the conference circuit or the convention circuit, I should say, is they do it because it's lucrative.
Yeah.
But also they must hate doing it because of the constant sort of probably the same questions.
Yeah.
Or questions like, in Series 4, Episode 3,
The doctor said...
specifically 19 and a half minutes in, you said this. What did you mean by that?
I was very privileged to host a supernova discussion with George R.R. Martin some years back.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was 2013. Yeah, so that just the show had gone super mainstream and he was very much
I think
enjoying
that's the one. I think my brother and his now wife dragged me to that to get his autograph on a set of books.
So he just sat there doing autographs all day. He was really, really good. And so when I asked him, because I had some pre-prepped questions because I was working for the news agency that was sponsoring Supernova, so that's why I got the gig and I was doing recaps. So it all fitted. And I said to him, would you like to do an audience Q&A? I've got some pre-prep questions from readers, but we can, whatever it makes you comfortable. And he said, look, can we just, because he'd done one, I think, the night before, and that was a Q&A. And he said, do you mind if we just talk? Because I answered a bunch of questions last night and I'd love to just chat and see what comes up organically. So I had a few reader questions to get kick-started, and then it was just a discussion, and it was really, really fun.
Wow.
And it was obviously made him more comfortable because he wasn't threatened with the, when are you coming out with the next book, George?
Are you going to finish? What happens if you die before the next book comes out?
Yeah. You're not looking too good, George. Just going to insult you in person.
People are strange. I remember Sylvester McCoy saying when I saw him at...
Stop asking me questions.
Yeah, he said, you again. I've got an order against you. No, he was saying that he met a woman on the cruise. So I don't know if it was like a pop culture convention cruise or he just happened to be on a cruise.
And he got coronavirus.
And no, he didn't. And anyway, she was so excited to meet him and she was crying and hugging him and stuff. And then... later, she wanted to jump off the boat and kill herself because she'd met the Seventh Doctor and life had nothing more for
Jesus
her.
Christ.
But and he also told the story
And that's
of
how he met his wife.
when he got the role of the Doctor. One of the first questions he was asked by someone at the convention was, now that you're the Doctor, are you worried someone's going to shoot you?
Jesus.
And he went, I am now.
Oh, wow.
I just thought that was such a weird question to ask.
Someone thinks he's as important as the president.
Well, it was an American convention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone was packing guns there.
Yeah, there's more guns there than there are everywhere.
They all fired into
So-
the air. Yeehaw!
You know, I imagine that there's all sorts of weird stuff, but we're not the only people to ever embarrass ourselves in front of our favourite celebrities, and we won't be the last.
All right, back to the episode.
Oh, that's right.
So now they're aboard the cyber ship, but do the Cybermen need oxygen? Because when they get off, they don't seem to worry about oxygen or gravity or.
Oh, God, no. Why would you need any of those things?
Probably not.
Well,
I
that's what
don't know. I thought they
They
did.
have brains, so maybe they do need oxygen.
But are they all automated and only?
Oh, they're not. No, that ship isn't automated. It isn't until what's his name, Lone Cyberman, comes on that he wants to automate everything.
Ah, okay. I don't know. There were some big holes in this one.
There's a little boundary science holes.
Yeah.
With Ryan out of action and the Doctor handing out humbugs with added ginger,
Yay.
Ethan takes control of the cyber ship and heads to Koshamus and the Boundary. Apparently, the Boundary is a gateway they can pass through that spits them out randomly somewhere else in space. It's the best way to get Cybermen off their back.
Ah, so it spits them out randomly.
That's what they said, and so the Cybermen can't find them.
Okay, so the master must have done a little bit of jiggery pokery to get it to go
Apparently.
into Gallifrey.
So if it spits them out randomly and they're just walking through, do you think they've been spat out into just deep space and there's just a bunch of people that
Floating
Floating
dead
around.
corpses. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's.
Or was it always Gallifrey?
Yeah,
I
know.
don't think it was always Gallifrey. I've decided that. No one told me that. It's not in the episode. I've just made that decision. Let's go with it. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch it now and
Maybe we
work
could
out
use
about
the Boundary to
master.
go to Rose Tyler's parallel dimension
Yeah.
and pick her up, you know.
Oh, well, she was the first one to ruin Doctor Who.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
A shard beams in with a hollow message, and somehow they get talking about his origin story. It seems that when the cyber fleet emerged, he offered himself for conversion but was denied.
I'd like to have known more about him.
Yeah, So would I.
He
gets knocked
he's
off.
the most interesting Cyberman I've ever met.
Oh, yeah, and let's not talk about what happens to him in The Timeless Children.
Oh.
But the thing is, we've seen people who aren't fit for conversion. They don't get to just walk out of the factory.
No.
Like, Ashard seems to be like, oh, I felt so bad and so depressed about it. They would have fucking killed you, mate.
Yeah, they would have deleted you.
Yeah.
You either get upgraded or delete. Anyway, so I don't know, but I hope we do know his story a bit more.
However, after feeling ashamed, he has come to realize he has been chosen. He also says that the death of everything is within him in true edgelord fashion.
I did like that, and I was
The death of everything is in me.
It's a bit goth, isn't it?
very gothic.
Obviously pulled a lot from Shelley and Byron when he was
Listen
there.
to my metal album.
Listen to my pain.
Yes.
The death of everything, I slaughtered my children.
The Doctor's cyber ship arrives on Ko-Shamus, the person, not the planet. Old Ko helped people get
I
through the barrier
love
and then waited in case others needed help.
He's ex-Game of Thrones, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Barristan Selmy.
Yeah.
Ex-Kingsguard.
He was
Been
a
in
great
service to
character
Danny.
there, and he was a great character in this. Didn't find it in this episode, but the next one, I was really quite
He
fond
peaks
of
up
him.
in the next one,
I
doesn't
was
he?
really fond of him. I liked him a lot.
Turns out the cyber warship is a troop carrier with hundreds of thousands of Cybermen on board.
All right.
Yes?
This bothers me. So the Cybermen, right? Did they not go back into their cyber ships and go, oh, hang on, there's still Cybermen here? I mean, did they just go,
Yeah.
oh, well, that ship's not working and leave? Aren't they supposed to be at the last legs of the cyber war? Like, there's only a few of them left?
Yep. Send a cyber drone to turn the ship back on and, bring it back. It has power.
There should not, that should
Apparently
have,
oxygen is still going through the ship.
that should not have had billions of Cybermen in it. It didn't make sense. It just really, that was really stuck with me.
But they had spikes
It's sort of Chris
on there.
Chibnall's guiding motto, isn't it? Does it make sense? No? Let's go with it.
Well, I think his motto is just basically, is it cool? Let's do it. Or is it cool for him, basically?
Is it going to shit heaps of people? Let's do it.
Driving a bus full of people and the bus crashes and then you just get up and go and they go,
You
"Oh, the
abandon
people."
it. You
Oh,
come
I
back
don't know.
later and then you
Dead,
start
I
hacking into
suppose.
them.
Yeah. Walk away. No. Can we save him? No, don't even worry about it. Bus has crashed.
Well, talking about that, this is the part where he starts drilling into some of the cyber people, and it's like, is that
why
him?
is he doing that?
Yeah, is that because with the next one he says he's taking out the organic parts? Is that him doing that, or because he doesn't have time to do all of them? Let me tell you, he does not have time to do all of them.
I don't know what he's doing. What, did he not like them? Were they
Yeah.
ones that pissed him off?
You are the one who slept with my girlfriend.
Are you talking about the one where he drills
into it, yeah.
one and then one of the
Ravio
humans is
goes,
going,
yeah.
there's a Cyberman that can make other Cybermen scream.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really interesting conceit.
Yeah, definitely.
The idea of what makes him different?
Because I thought he was torturing
how-
the Cybermen or
But
something.
why was he doing it?
Exactly.
What
Never
did-
explained.
What did it achieve?
It just sounded cool, so he just went with it.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's going to do it. I just want to know why. Or is he just that unstable that he's just torturing everybody?
He's a bit screwed up. Maybe that was the guy who said no to him.
Ah, I remember you. How can
remember
you tell
you.
me from everybody else? We all look the same.
Now, what's up with the flirting between Graham and Ravio? That was
I liked
gone
it.
somewhere.
I thought it might,
I
but
like strange.
nothing happened.
Oh.
Although they are all in the 21st century together.
Yeah, and I have to say, for someone was one of the last humans left in a apocalyptic wasteland of Earth with not much supplies, her eyeliner was really on point.
It was.
And
it
I'm
was.
just impressed. She must be using some coal or some, burnt out ash or charcoal or something.
I'm glad someone else saw that.
People are really going to the effort to get their eyeliner big, black, and heavy in the future. And
When
I
she comes
appreciate
out
it.
at the start and that guy's like, so how's the ship doing? She's like, I'm just thinking, oh, yeah. I've totally been working on the ship.
Yeah.
Just doing my makeup.
I was the same thing. I'm sitting there going, why did they put eyeliner on her?
Or so much eyeliner.
Yeah.
It's very deliberate. You can't just wake up like that.
No.
In the future,
You're
can.
not born with it. It is Maybelline.
Maybe
Not in
she
the
had
future,
it.
it's not. It's
maybe
ash.
it was tattooed on. You know, people can get their
Yeah,
eyeliner tattooed on.
You can get eyebrows and stuff, but do you get like a full black rim around the whole eye?
Yeah.
Like, that's
No, no, no.
painful.
That would be very painful.
When you're being hunted by the Cybermen, you got to look your
Yes,
best.
that's true. That's true.
But it's sort of a shorthand for badass women to have
Yeah,
a big,
yeah.
thick rim of eyeliner.
Mm.
And unfortunately, it just doesn't bear up to a lot of scrutiny
Yeah.
when you think about, any kind of apocalyptic scenario, unless there's some sort of justification for, it's coal, like it's
Yeah.
literally burnt charcoal or something like that.
Well,
and
if
you're
there's
putting
one
it on
thing
for
we've learned
disguise
from
or-
Orphan 55 is that the makeup in this season does not hold up to scrutiny.
No.
Because of hyphen with the 3 and the
what
weird
a
like
hyphen
dog
with the 3.
face sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm
Makeup
thinking is, if you've got the time to put eyeliner on,
Hmm.
brush your hair. Brush your hair.
Or
People.
maybe they couldn't get a brush, but could get eyeliner.
Oh God, yeah. I had the same thing. I went, I'll let it slide because I'm still getting over the fact that the Cybermen the ship broke down and they just took off and went, they're all dead. So, are they there? Yeah, they're there. But are you going to go back?
I'm
It's
still
not
doing
working.
me eyes.
Yeah. Stupid.
And when Ravio tells Graham, did we all notice that Graham goes, "Excuse me, I'm the most normal bloke you've ever going to meet"? He flubs his line.
Yeah.
And some people were like, was he about to say he was the Doctor?
Yeah, I know. There was this big speculation about that. He was never going to say that. Or maybe he will.
But it seems
I
strange.
missed that whole thing. So there you go.
Yeah,
I'll
it
have
seems
to go back
strange
and
that if he
rewatch.
flubbed his line, that they wouldn't go back and just record it again, you know?
Well, I spent all the budget on the flying drone heads.
Yeah, an eyeliner.
That'll do.
As they approach Koshamas, the last remaining humans manage communication and warn of the oncoming cyber attack, but the control room is breached and the Cybermen attack the people there. The Doctor and the others have reached the edge of the boundary, which opens up with a purple hue. But what the Doctor sees is not what she expected. Through the boundary, she can see the ruins of Gallifrey.
Now, I did not expect that.
No, I did not expect that either.
No.
I thought there was part of me that thought Koshamas was going to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because when he keeps going, no, just keep going a little bit further, a little bit further.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, fuck, he's killed everybody who's come to see
Yeah,
him.
it was a bit. It
Yeah.
could have been a good reveal like that.
Yeah.
Could have been a good
And
bait and switch.
It's a cyber factory on the
Yeah,
other
or something
side.
like that, yeah.
That's what I was expecting.
Someone comes through the boundary. It's Barrack Stemmis. Sorry, the Master.
Yeah. Well, I knew he'd come back, but it's still always good to see him.
Barrack Stemmers?
When they released the synopsis of this episode,
Oh, that's
one of the
right,
actors was
yeah.
called Barrack Stemmis, and
That's right,
instantly everyone translated it as Master is back.
Ah.
Everyone threw it in an anagram.
But someone
website.
set up a Twitter account called Barrack Stemmis and was like, I can't wait for people to see me in this episode. And then after the episode aired, he's like, yeah, all my scenes got cut.
Oh,
It's
poor
pretty
Barrack
funny.
Stemmers.
And with that, the Master leaves us with the words, "Be afraid, Doctor, because everything is about to change forever." Dun dun dun!
I love the Master's outfit.
Look, it's a good entrance, and yeah, it's a great sort of checked, tweedy, maroony, slightly
Bit jokerish.
Oh, definitely.
bit
Yeah.
jokerish, bit slightly Sylvester McCoy. I got
Mm.
vibes of that kind of.
What
slightly
have you
tweedy.
thought of the Master through like Spyfall up till now?
Yeah, look, he's been good. I think he's very charismatic, and he's obviously an incredibly skilled actor from when he was playing O to his transition from
Oh,
O
yeah,
in
definitely.
Spyfall.
That was
to the Master
amazing.
he was so like, "Oh, you're the Doctor. It's so nice to meet you. Hello."
Yeah.
He did that
Very
transition
excited
really
to
well.
See you and blah blah blah.
I think he's certainly hamming it up as the
Oh,
Master.
totally.
Which is lots of fun. I don't know if there was as much nuance in the next episode that he could do. I think he's very capable of all of that, but I'm just not sure that he was given the best opportunities with what they end up doing in The Timeless Child with the whole Master in two places at once. But I won't get into too much of that to
Yeah.
spoil your
All
next
right, let's,
episode.
as we always do, we like to give the episode a score out of 5 for Ascension of the Cybermen. Nicchia, would you like to go first?
This one I found really hard. I enjoyed it. Then I saw The Timeless Children. Then I went back and watched it. And there are just so many problems with it. And I don't like Cybermen, which is always my biggest problem. It was just the fact that there was a ship full of bloody Cybermen that suddenly just turned up.
Yeah.
That really annoyed me. The heads, all sorts of things. So I'm going to have to give this to me, a bog standard Doctor Who 3.
And Nat, what would you like to give this episode?
A generous 2.
Ooh,
Ooh,
you
she
did not
did
like
not
this
like
at all.
It wasn't.
That says it all, really, doesn't
and the two is mostly. Oh, look, I'll add on an extra half star for the Brendan plotline because that's what really engaged me in this episode.
Yep.
Was it in this episode where Graham has this conversation with Yaz?
No, that was the
That's
next
the next one.
I liked
Okay.
that.
But yeah, maybe if we're being no, I think 2.5 is where I'm comfortable putting this. I don't want to give Chris Chibnall any more credit than he's due. There's a lot of weirdness, cyber drone heads, humans, boundaries, things that are not explained very well.
It's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of, I'm a big Moffat fan. A lot of people don't like Moffat. But I liked the way that he had all the wibbly wobbly stuff. But in most of the time, not always, but most of the time you would find where it linked up. Whereas for me with this one,
well, he's clever.
I couldn't find those clever links in there.
They're just thrown in. Whereas when something happens with Moffat, you're generally able to piece it together and go, whereas Chibnall just drops things in, and this happens again next episode with the death particle, just to sizzle that. But it's like, what, that just came out of nowhere. What? Who? Yeah. What? There's been no, and the same with the Brendan. There's been no foreshadowing that the Doctor's been having these as visions. It's just dropped in there that, you've been having this as visions. It's like, I just feel they're not connecting the dots enough.
Yeah. And look, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I agree with a lot of those. I think it's just it's a bog standard Doctor Who episode. I don't really dislike much about it. It just kind of is. But I'm giving it an extra half because of the Brendan storyline. I felt that could have been really, I really liked it here in the mystery of what it was going to be. And then obviously when we find out what it is, it's kind of just blown under the rug.
Yeah.
But I feel like
it was set up really well here.
Oh, set up really, really well. And I was waiting for that week, not necessarily trying to find out what's going to happen to the Doctor. And I was more interested about who is Brendan? Oh my God, this is going to be amazing, blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of just, it's a one line in the next episode. So.
Yeah, and it wasn't set up well that it was visions, because one of the things is when Dave and I were watching it, and Dave doesn't always get it if it twists too much. And he's like, well, I don't understand. What's this? He just could not understand why we'd be going to Ireland and then back.
And you have to realize, last season was to try and get new watchers, new people to watch. And so there's probably people who are 5 to 10 who are watching this who maybe don't get a one line in the next episode where, it's a visual filter, blah, blah, blah. And they're still confused, who's...
Yeah, although
Brendan,
I have to say, I think, and maybe kids now are much more sophisticated than I was, but when I watched Classic Who, lots of stuff didn't make sense, but I loved it anyway. Because I watched it as a little kid, and it didn't have to. I wasn't there unraveling it all. I was just enjoying the adventure I was on. So I think kids are probably a little less picky than we are.
Oh, for sure. They're not running their own podcasts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If they were, they'd be making billions. Beck Tech.
I think I might shock you guys. I'm going to give it a 4.
No, it's good to have difference of opinion.
Yeah.
Makes for a healthy democracy.
I really enjoyed it. Obviously, there's the points that you guys brought up, but I think if I thought about the two-part as a whole and not separately as episodes, I would really rate it a lot higher than if it was just one
That's a fair
episode.
point.
Yeah.
There's obviously things that don't make much sense in the first episode that sort of get wrapped up in the second one, but not really sometimes. Absolutely hated the cyber... What are they? The
cyber drones.
Cyber drones.
Yeah.
Yeah, hated them.
More than the cyber mats that you had to... Remember the one we did with...
the little snake thingies?
The snake things?
The revenge
Yeah. I think
You have
more
to
than
hold it
those.
to your neck.
I think those were funnier, though.
I think at the time they probably wouldn't have been bad, but I think they're just funny to watch now. But I'm sure Chris Chibnall has to know how just naff those cyber drones are.
I feel like the problem is that they were really lazy. If he had made them super naff, they were actual modern drones with a Cyberman face on the front, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's just a cyber head.
What about a cyber head that's normal size, but then it's got just a little tiny Cyberman body flying behind it?
That would
Like
be
a little tail?
amazing.
I mean, it was a great chance for the production team to design something really
Yeah.
cool and
Yeah.
new, but
Yeah.
No,
And
let's
then the
just get the
people
heads.
creating the
But-
teams, the toys just have to like pop off a couple of Cybermen heads.
Yeah.
They're like, there
Oh,
we go.
why don't they have like a Cyberman Pez dispenser?
They probably do.
Oh, they've got to have one. A little, I don't know how little Dalek
Eat.
would work. Yeah.
But you're right.
Eat.
The drones were naff. And also, why did you need anything? If the drones could do what they did, why did you need anything else? It just overkill.
And I think it was very adamant that the first 2 episodes of the series and the last 2 episodes of the series are what probably took the production so long and took the most out of the budget to make.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, even though there's aspects of the 2 episodes that probably don't make much sense or probably could have been done better, like, it looked amazing. Like, I really liked it. So, yeah, that's what I think.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
no, thank you for having me.
Thank
Nicchia,
you.
do you have a question you would like to ask?
Yes. Now, everybody who comes on the podcast, we want to know what their Time Lord name will be.
Oh.
So the Doctor picked the Doctor because she wanted to, or he wanted to do no wrong, to heal, to do that. My family gave me the Time Lord name, the Commander, because apparently I'm bossy. Adams,
The nerd.
because he's the one who asked the question, like in episode 7.
It is
How
pretty
come
funny,
the
right?
The nerd.
How
Help us,
come the
nerd.
Daleks can fly now? They haven't been able to fly. What's with that? Why can't we operate the buttons with our hands and not suckers? It doesn't
Nerd
make
can't
any
actually
sense.
do anything. He just sits there complaining about the things that are
So,
wrong with the situation.
If you have a look behind you,
Oh,
all our
gosh.
guests have got their Time Lord name. So it's either a word of what you're the something that you aspire to be, or a word that you think encompasses your strengths, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Failure? Oh, that's so sad.
We have had a lot of comedians, so there's been a lot of
Yeah.
put downs.
We've
Yeah.
got the hot
Aw.
mess and
yeah,
the lunchbox.
the lunchbox.
that was
yeah.
Dooney.
This is really tough.
Well,
late-
you have a think about it. What was yours,
Well-
Beck?
The artist.
The artist.
The
yeah.
artist.
Well, I was just going to say, because my current job is trying to be a writer, performer, producer, and it's just going to be a really good couple of months, guys.
Oh shit, eh? Oh.
So maybe the producer or the
Oh, we haven't had the
or
producer.
the writer or something like that.
I like the producer. So what I want to know is,
So then you sort of you're making things happen, I guess, because that's
So
what
we turn
producing
up-
is doing all of the grunt work.
we turn up at an adventure and we get out of the TARDIS with the nerd, the artist, and the commander. The producer comes out. What do you bring to the
Showbiz.
adventure?
Showbiz.
Showbiz.
Give it a little bit of razzle dazzle.
Everybody in
Places.
Everybody places. That's more of a director. Oh, maybe it could be the director.
The director. You wanna be
actually.
the director.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
like
do
the
direct as well, but
I
yeah,
like the
producer-
director.
The director. Given that's what
Graham,
I'm
when
trying
you
to
were
do.
attacking the Cybermen, I just need 110%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just give me more emotion?
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like Graham was giving emotion. It's everyone else who just doesn't give back at all.
Oh.
And the one thing we didn't mention in this episode really was about the fam and their continuing kind of lack of relevance in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking briefly before we started recording about which one of the fam do you think should continue on, because I feel like Graham and Ryan's story is kind of already passed, like
Me
they've
too.
done their thing, and we're just starting to find out about Yaz, so I'm happy that Yaz will continue on.
Well, Graham, in this episode, I remember saying on my own podcast that I was worried that he might die, be killed off, something like that, or leave at the end of the next episode because of the way he kept saying, no, it's all going to be good. We're going to be fine. We've got to have hope.
Yeah,
We've got
yeah.
it. Like he kind of took on this mantle of positive attitude, which for me is like, oh, look, it's cannon fodder again.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen, spoilers. But yeah, so that to me, that was pointing at a sort of like, Graham's being nice and we're all loving Graham.
I love Graham and I will miss him when he goes. But I am looking forward to getting to know the Yaz character more. And I saw, particularly in the last episode, I saw more of her. The bravery and the first one to jump in, which I don't think they've really showed before And I think if they're going to build on that, that's good. As long as they don't make it too much more like Clara. I mean, I loved Clara, but we've had a Clara. We need someone different.
And we know Tosin has been cast in a Netflix series
so he's
in America.
going as well.
It takes 9 months to shoot Doctor Who. So, and apparently Bradley Walsh has been cast in a remake of
Darling Buds of May.
Yeah, so
is he going to be David Jason?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Reference going over my head.
Yep. Oh, no, you weren't alive when that was on.
Yeah.
They're going to get Catherine Zeta-Jones back.
No. Because if you watch that, she doesn't have the straight, perfect teeth.
No,
because
she's
still
18
Welsh.
and
she's still Welsh.
natural raw Welsh beauty.
Beautiful.
As opposed to
still
Hollywood
beautiful,
but
looks naturally beautiful, not Hollywood beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've been saying since the start that Graham's probably going to die, just because Bradley Walsh is on every fucking TV show and in the UK, The Chase.
Oh,
he has a show with his son. He has a couple of other shows.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, and he's just such an amazing actor.
Breaking Dad, it's called. Where they go do like crazy stuff. He did like a rodeo in America or something. Yeah.
Wow, I've got to go watch that.
I think he's wonderful, but I do think that the TARDIS has been too busy for too long, and we do sort of need to get back to a bit more of a. So Yaz is staying, so I'll be interested to see how.
So
they
hasn't
develop
been
her.
totally
So
confirmed
Ryan's
yet.
been cast in a Netflix show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be the lead. It's an American one.
All right. Thank you very much. So, Natalie, do you have anything you would like to plug?
You can follow me on Facebook.
There you go.
You can follow Natalie Bochenski, which is my sort of Facebook page. You can also follow Act React or go to actreact.com.au or at Act React Theatre on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. That is my company that produces shows like Speed the Movie, The Play, and Love Hate Actually.
Selling out
Titanic,
at
the
the
movie
Brisbane
play.
Comedy Festival.
Yes, fingers crossed. Who knows when this comes out? Who knows what will have happened?
You
We might all be dead of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
You're able to fit more than 500 people in that bus, is that correct?
It is true. It's a TARDIS bus.
I love a
so,
TARDIS bus.
That would help me out so much in terms of ticket sales, I'll tell you what. But yes, so I don't know when you're listening to this in May, who knows what will be happening with the arts. But if you follow, I would love people to follow Act React on Facebook. You can just type in Act React, you'll see us or Act React Theatre, and you will find us and just follow along. And hopefully, we will have more stuff coming up.
And a lot of those shows are with Scott Driscoll as well.
Yes, and we have Scott on the show.
Yes,
He's
and
the
you
host.
had Dan Beeston,
yes, we
I
did,
believe.
yes. We had
Dan
Dan.
is a co-writer of Speed, Titanic the movie play, and Die Hard the movie the play.
Wow.
And yeah, so lots
They're
of
very,
connections
very
there.
hilarious shows. If you get a chance to see one, please do. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll be back, but we just, I guess, working things out.
Yeah.
You know, look, 2021 is shaping up to be a real great year. Either a real great year or we're all dead. So it doesn't
Well,
matter.
there won't be as many
Yay.
of us
Well,
around.
I mean, on a serious note, it's obviously going to be a tough time. And again, this is coming out in May, so maybe it's all better and we're all fine. Everything's recovered. But, you know, spare a thought to people in those industries like entertainment, media.
I work at the powerhouse.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's tough times because a lot of people are casual contractors, a lot of actors, artists, musicians. You know,
the stage
you
hands,
rely
all
on
of those people.
Yeah, tech people. You
Tech
rely
people.
on gig work. It's a lot of casual work, contract work, and that is all going to be seriously affected. And I don't mean to say, obviously, public health is the most important.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah. Yes.
But a lot of people think, oh, we'll just stay home from work. And the fact is, if I can't stay home and do a show. You know, that's
well,
just,
you can, but no one goes.
Yeah.
You know,
my house is too small.
yeah.
Too many foster cats. But you know, it's one of those things where it's just not that simple for a lot of people in the arts to just work from home. And yes, I'll be doing as much as I can at my house on other things where I can, but just spare a thought for those people. And if you have a favorite musician who maybe has a Patreon, or if you know an author, buy their book, all those little things can help. I don't have any books to sell.
No.
My problem being a theatre
live,
person.
Listen to your podcast.
Once live entertainment comes back, you know, starts being put on again, please make sure you go and support people. You go out and don't sit at home being like, oh, I'm not going to do anything for the rest of the year because I'm worried about getting sick or something.
It's
you
a
know?
tough call. I don't want to make anyone sort of go out if they're nervous, but it's a case of play it by ear, see what the public health advice is, and just know that when musicians, actors, artists have to cancel stuff,
Yeah.
they don't get paid. So it's, it's just raising awareness of that. And
Or when
know,
the events get cancelled, like a lot of
the Melbourne International Comedy Festival has been cancelled. So that's a lot of comedians, a lot of stand-ups who've just lost a month of income, and that's often the income that they make that sustains them for the rest of the year.
And they've gone into debt to set up their show.
It's expensive.
Then they have to try and get money back from venues, from flights.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that when you buy a ticket to see a show, and your ticket, say, costs $50 to go see a musician or something, the musician is not getting $50.
Yeah.
The venue's got their cut, the ticketing fees, insurances, all those other things. The artist may be getting $20 of that, maybe. So just keep that in mind, that things are expensive, things cost money to put on. So that's just, I'm just trying to raise awareness. I'm not trying to get personal sympathy, but just for people to go, it's going to be a rough time for people in that gig economy. That's why it's always been funny when people talk about the gig economy with Uber and Lyft and all those other services, Airbnb. It's like, well, that's been the arts forever. Yeah. So
and I mean, we can hope that the government will help people out in those things, but considering that they absorbed the arts department into infrastructure, probably not.
It's looking like a real bad case of timing, that one.
Real
bad decision.
Yeah, I know.
Because that's and the thing is that the all of those events, and like sporting events as well, I guess, but sporting events are often funded by, they've got big media deals, or they've got their sporting clubs might have pokies, they've got other sources of revenue.
Players get paid a lot.
Players are on contract.
And they're talking about, like, a lot of sporting events, they're going to do the game, but they're just going to film it and put it on TV.
That's right. So they still have those. They still have those options.
Yeah, a lot of live entertainment doesn't get that opportunity.
Not at all. No. So it's just a sense of knowing that they are different. They are different beasts, and humans do need those things to go out to socialize to take part in. Yeah. So,
but we need things that have our imagination and make us laugh, and we need that. You need the arts. People.
I can guarantee
really
that
do.
everyone who's written a script for Doctor Who, has ever written a script for Doctor Who, they've been in community theatre, or they've been in film. They've made short films with their mates. They've they've written short novels. They've been journalists. It's all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's why we do this podcast. And you can guarantee anyone who's written a script for Doctor Who hasn't gone, I'm going to make a shitty script and everyone's going to fucking hate it. They're sitting there writing the best script that they, like, Chris Chibnall probably was like, this would be cool, and this would be cool, and this would be cool.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter. It's Doctor Who, doesn't need to be explained, but this will be cool, and this will be cool.
The difference is he's got the nice, comforting sort of BBC and BBC America funding to support him through tough times.
Yeah.
So
that's true. That's true.
But just the closing down of live events impacts so many more than just the artists as well, as you say.
It does.
Techs and costumers and all sorts of things, catering and so much. So, even pubs and things will suffer when they don't have musicians on or comedians on. Or public health is important.
Obviously.
Very
again,
important.
All artists want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. It's just that it's
They'd
happened
like
so
to eat
quickly.
as well. Yeah.
It's happened so quickly, so sudden that it's where
Yeah,
if people
especially
can.
if they think you might be able to spread the virus before you show symptoms, which is probably the most worrying thing.
Yeah, that's what scares
And
me.
the other thing is that when the bushfires happened, which were devastating, there were so many benefit concerts or fundraisers or authors donating prizes, and lots of artists, lots of writers, lots of performers, musicians donating their services and trying to raise money.
Now they need our help.
They will need help too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
All right.
That's my soapbox.
Thank you
I'll
very
step
much.
down.
Thank you very much. You want a hand getting
That's our
down?
next mini episode done.
That's a very
As
big
standalone. Nicchia, would you like to promote it?
No, I've got nothing. I don't know where I am from week to week at the moment.
We
so-
don't know where you are.
I know.
We turned up today and we were like, hello, aren't you in Canberra?
I'm supposed to be somewhere else. But anyway, no, so nothing. Nothing to report, sir.
As always, you can follow Adam O'Sullivan Comedian on Facebook and visit thenerdinfidel.com. Neither have been updated in a very long time. Thank you very much.
We got to do reviews.
First review, well, actually, it's the one that was put on later, but I found it first, is from Charlie. Thank you very much. She says, I love D4WH. It is an awesome podcast. I love how it makes me laugh, and it's so positive. Thank you very much. We love that being positive too. We love the show, and we don't want to just shit on the show. So
Exactly. We love the show. Okay, I've got one from Laurie, and I like this one. Laurie, she loves the laughs, the mockery, and the oh my god
Oh my
moments.
god.
Oh my god, you got an oh my god moment.
No, use it as your ringtone.
Thank you very much, Laurie. Very
I
cool.
wonder if Being Tim still has me as his ringtone.
I don't know.
Remember
about
that?
that,
That was crazy.
We need to know. We need to know.
We need to know.
We need to
Hard-hitting
know what he
news.
does for a living because he sort of hinted at it. And
He's an Adam O'Sullivan super fan.
I thought he was an astronaut. I picked that one.
Yeah, and we also have 3 Patreon listeners. So,
Yes.
yeah, we have Tara has joined our ranks.
Thank you.
We have Being Tim, Ezamon, and Tara. Thank you so much. And if you want episodes early and you want want a little mini episode in between the episodes we put out, normal episodes, then please subscribe to us on Patreon. For as little as $5, you can support local comedy. Well, it might not be local where you're from, but you can support us who don't do comedy as a job.
You can support people
Yeah,
who love
support me.
love Doctor Who
Yeah.
and are just hilarious naturally and can con really good comedians into coming on the podcast. I mean, hell, it's a win-win for me.
Get the word out. Our suggestions today are the Heart of the Ocean, a necklace. That's the item, not the place.
Oh,
And the location is Perth.
yay!
Get the word out. You might be in the middle of Perth, about to go on a replica of the Titanic. Clive Palmer's Titanic 2, guys. It's landed in Perth. You know, it's great. You're all dolled up. You get your necklace, your Heart of the Ocean, and it's really big because it's got a lot of water in it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Why
not
are
like,
you rubbing your nips?
why? Because that's how you put it on. You're like, oh yeah. It's like a big flask of water. It's not like the original.
I'm
Heart
glad
of the
nobody
Ocean.
else is watching this besides us.
It's just hard enough as it is.
Hey, I'm
without
enjoying
fucking
it. I'm finding it
hecklers.
very erotic.
It's not like the original Heart of the Ocean, which is a big diamond, I assume. It's like a big flask. that
Wait, you don't know?
I haven't seen Titanic.
It's a sapphire, isn't it?
Is it?
It's a diamond.
Yeah, that's what I
it's a
thought.
blue diamond.
Oh, blue. Yeah.
Okay. It's a big flask of drinkable water.
But you don't know through your pop culture, just general knowledge, that the heart of the
I know
ocean
it's from
is-
Titanic. That's about as good as it gets, okay?
Oh my god,
I know.
So you get on
He
the...
wasn't looking at the necklace. He was looking at the tits that were surrounding the necklace.
She wasn't
That's
wearing
fair.
it when she put her hand up on the thing. And,
That is true.
Yeah.
just like that, you're on the Titanic too, and you look outside and put your hand on the window and you streak it down. You're like, oh, I hope Clive Palmer's got his dinosaur park on this boat. And on that boat, as it starts to sink to the bottom of the ocean, because Clive Palmer has said it's going to take the exact same route that the Titanic was, which is why it's in Perth.
Yep.
Obviously,
Yep.
everyone knows Titanic was going to Perth. The only thing you have to
left
keep you
Perth.
sane is our podcast, D4WH. So please get the word out.
I would have chosen different things if I knew that that's what you did with those suggestions.
He goes crazy.
Until next time, keep searching the skies for the Doctor. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This has been a production of the Nerd Infinite. And then the sound of dragons spitting fire and stuff. What? Why are you looking at me like that?